Our webinar series presentation today is Are You Ready for the Release? What You Need to Know About CMMI version 1.3, presented by speaker Eileen Forrester. Sir Eileen?
Thank you very much, Shane. And I'm not alone here in the room today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on the webinar, but I also have some colleagues in the room with me, Jeff Welch from the certification program, Pat Copeland from Licensing and Partners, Brian Mack, who manages our SaaS interface, Darlene Moore, who is our quality manager, Rusty Young, who manages our appraisal program, and Dean Blash, who does everything. So if you ask me a hard question, I may ask one of my colleagues to help. Now, we make an assumption on, especially for this particular webinar, that this is for people who already understand what CMMI is and don't need basic information. Sometimes when we do these webinars, we get some feedback that people wanted very fundamental information, and that's not really what this webinar is about. This is for people who already know about CMMI, understand that there's a release coming, and want the information about what's coming in the release and when. So I will characterize the version 1.3 changes to the product suite, but at a very high level. There simply isn't time in this brief webinar to go into all the model, appraisal, and training changes. I will spend some time going over the release schedule, which continues over several months. We are already into release, and it continues really through 2011. So I will make sure you understand what's available and when. I will say a little bit about qualifying for the various roles to do with CMMI, and we hope to have some time for questions and input. When Shane originally asked me to do this webinar, we thought we might have time for me to also talk about CMMI for services. As some of you know, that's my real job. I'm the product manager, the program manager for CMMI for services, and I'm always eager to talk about that. However, based on the interest we've been getting and questions in advance, we anticipate that I won't really get to talk about that. So for those of you who are interested in that topic, I apologize if we don't get there, and I hope to do another webinar soon on that content.
Okay, our first polling question for everyone today, folks, is going to be, I think I am ready to handle the release of version 1.3. You strongly disagree, you disagree, you neither agree or disagree, you agree or you strongly agree with the information you have now available. Okay, a pretty even mix. The majority are in the agree or strongly agree, but we do have a diverse audience, and I know you're going to fill them all in today.
Okay, great. Thank you. First, I wanted to mention where you can go to get reliable information. Besides this webinar and presentations that the SEI has been giving over the last few months, there are some web resources. We have, first of all, our Information Center page. That's the first link. And there we answer questions that we're getting repeatedly and any news that we've got when things change. Available from that page are two links to more detailed information, and we have noticed that users spend a fair amount of time there, so we hope that's useful. The first has the release schedule, and we do add things and take things away, so you might want to check back that schedule fairly often. And the third link is for a table that in a very quick form shows you what the qualification steps are for the various roles, whether appraisal team member, appraiser, instructor, and so forth. So we suggest you give a try to those pages if you have a question or want to make sure you've got the latest correct news. And if that doesn't work, you can always send email to info@sei.cmu.edu. So what changes to expect? Many of you said that you are already fairly clued in, but let's make sure everyone knows that the changes are to the entire product suite. So not just the models, but the training and the appraisal products have changes as well. We were very careful with the revision process, that it was based on what's really happening out there in the field. We had lots of input from real users, direct participation from real users of the models and the training and the appraisals, directly on the team that was disposing changes. And of course, we also had additional users who responded to surveys, reviewed ongoing drafts, tried things out in the field, and gave us additional feedback. And our hope was that we did not want version 1.3 to require a lot of reinvestment if you've got an improvement program going on. We wanted it to be, if anything, more efficient and less costly wherever possible. In some ways, this revision is really focused on experts and certified people in our community of practitioners. They've got the details on all of the changes and can assist you if you're a user.